If I had to start prepping from day one, knowing what I know now, here's exactly how I do it. So a few weeks ago on the 0 Hour podcast, somebody asked the question, if you had to start from day one, if you lost all your preps, whatever happened, how would you do it? And would you do it differently than the way you did it before? And of course, we had to give short answers because, we have to keep the podcast going on. But here's a little longer answer on exactly what I would do and the mistakes that I made the first time. Starting out, I made the same mistakes a lot of people make. Being an outdoors guy like I am, I focused on gear. Why? Well, because gear's fun and gear's cool. But starting over, gear would not be at the top of my priority list. Important, yes, but more down the road. And this is a common mistake because most people, when they start prepping, think SHTF's going to hit and they're going to have to go off and live in the woods for the rest of their lives. So they focus on gear thinking that that's the option that they're going to have. Well, once you get into it a little bit, you realize that bugging out is a last resort kind of thing and not your priority. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a bug out bag. I'm saying if you're starting from day one, that's not the first thing you want to grab. So, what should you get starting out from day one? Well, we're going to assume you're on a budget, since most of us are these days with the economy and things. And here's exactly what I would do first. So the first thing I would stock up on is shelf-stable canned foods. Things like beans, chili, canned meats, canned fruits and vegetables. These things are relatively cheap, and you can stock up on them relatively quick. Something to keep in mind is only stock canned food that are things that you actually eat. If you don't like peas, don't stock peas because you're not going to eat them. If you don't want to eat them now, you're not going to want to eat them in an SHTF situation. Also, make sure to rotate your cans. Get a few cans every time you go to the store. Put them in the back, eat the cans in the front. That way your cans are always staying fresh. Now remember, canned foods last a lot longer than the expiration date as long as the can's not rusted or bloated, or as long as they stay in good shape, they'll last you quite a long time. It also doesn't hurt to buy a big old bag of rice. I know beans and rice are kind of the prepper staples, but make sure you have a good variety so you get the nutrition you need. Don't just live off of cans of beans and bags of rice. That'll get old after a while. My personal favorite canned food to stock is canned chili. So make sure you get some of that. The second item I'd stock up on is cases of water. Now, of course, a lot of people are going to say you need to learn how to filtrate water and store water. And of course that's important, but we're talking day one on a budget here, right? Down the road, of course, you're going to want different ways to store water and you're going to want some water filtration systems and things like that. But to start out, grab a few cases of water. They're relatively cheap, relatively easy to store, and it's a good place to start. Now remember, you're going to need at least a gallon a day per person in your house. And that's just for drinking. We're not talking about washing clothes and sanitation and things like that. Okay? So make sure you got at least a gallon a day per person per amount of time you're starting out with, whether that be 3 days or a week or whatever that is. Of course, you want to build on that as time goes on. But like again, day one here. The next thing I do is get myself a really good medical kit. Nobody's going to come to save you in an SHTF. The first responders are going to be home taking care of their own family. Or maybe they can't even get to you. So you're going to need a good med kit. And more important than your med kit is the training you'll need to use that med kit. So look around in your local area and find some classes. CPR, stop the bleed, first aid, things like that are going to be very, very important. Sometimes you'll have to spend a little money for some of these classes, but sometimes you can find them for free too. Just look around, make sure you get the training to use this med kit. Because again, nobody's coming to save you. You're going to have to be your own first responder. So get the training necessary. Another thing you need to do right from the start is have a plan. How are you going to handle certain situations? What are you going to do if something goes down and you're at work or the whole family's at work? Do you have a route to get home? Do you know where you're going to meet? Do you have maps and things available? These things are very important. So have a plan. Write it down. Go over it with your family. Make sure everybody knows what the plan is. You hear us talk about this an awful lot because it is very important. You need a plan. Don't go into a situation blind, and make sure you have a plan for whatever the most likely scenario to happen in your specific area is, whether that be storms, tornadoes, hurricanes, floods. That's what you want to focus on first. Now, after you have those things taken care of, then you need to start learning some skills. Learn how to forage for food. Learn what to forage in your specific area. Get some books available. Go out and practice. Learn how to start a fire. Learn how to build a shelter if you need to. Learn how to filter water. That's going to be very important. Skills are going to be what save you in the long run. In any kind of long-term SHTF situation, you can only store so much food and water. Your skills are going to be what keeps you afloat after that, when those supplies run out. So learn as many skills as possible. And of course, the more skills you learn, the less gear you're going to need. So it'll also save you some money in the long run by learning all these skills. And there's many places to learn these skills. Right here on YouTube's a good place to learn. Check out the prepping channels, bushcrafting channels, things like that, and go out and practice these skills. Because you can watch all the videos you want to, but if you don't go out and actually perform these skills in person, you're not going to know what to do when it all goes down. So practice your skills as much as you possibly can. The goal here isn't panic. The goal here is to help you be prepared. So when it all goes down, you're nice and calm and you know how to handle the situation. Now, this is what I would do if I had to start over from day one on a limited budget. If you don't have a limited budget, hey, maybe you've got a few $1,000s to spend right off the bat. If you want to see a video on what I do with the first couple $1,000s, let me know in the comments. I'll make a follow-up video to this one. Again, remember, the goal here isn't panic, it's peace of mind. Thanks for stopping by, everybody. I hope this video has been helpful. If it has been, hey, hit all the buttons, do all the things. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. All those things help us out so we can keep doing the things that we do. Stay safe, everybody, and remember, don't wait for SHTF, because it's not going to wait for you. This is Ohio Valley Prepping. We'll see y'all on the next one.